Okay, there's many people that have emailed, they're concerned about getting a copy of a transcript that I was involved with in a court case. Not that the court case really had any real value. It was what came out of the justice's mouth that was put in the transcript that was dealing with the two names involved in what was being placed as a document and evidence into the court, which was the statement of birth record, which would be what the parents would fill at the hospital. Please stop asking me about anything other than that. It is the hospital record or whatever a parent would have filled out at the hospital. I don't care about any other version you've got, birth certificates, other versions of this. You're sending me nonsense in emails because you're not listening. You got to open up your ears and listen to the videos. I clearly stated that the birth registration system where the parents fill out in the hospital totally differentiates given name from surname, showing that there's two different names, two different jurisdictions. It happens. The system can't operate without the given name in the registration in order to produce a government BC or birth certificate, which basically runs the ambiguous title that shows up on the docket at the court. So if your name was John Smith, John given name, Smith surname, the certificate and the bond that works through the court system is Smith, John. It is not Smith surname and John given name. That is the trick right there. Because they could not use it in its pure sense because it's a trespass. It's an inducement. It did not belong to the state. The given name is private. The surname or the legal surname belongs to the state because the parents were using it. So that is all that was required on the birth registration. And in fact, the birth registration is only the surname. The given name can be involved in it by consent, the parents doing it unknowingly, but let's get down to the basics. One side is private, the other side is public. And you are not authorized to be part of the public. You are taking on that by your own consent. And it's like you're registering in, but you weren't invited. Just like someone coming to a hotel. You weren't invited, but you showed up and you registered into taking over a room. So when we're talking about provision, very important because the document that came up in previous videos, which stated there is no provision in the Canadian legal system, it's going to be the same in every other system. Don't worry about it, whether it's American or it's Australian. There is no provision in their system either. For an individual, thank goodness we even have a dictionary in the Canadian law, 3rd edition and the 4th edition, that states that individual is defined as not a member of a family. 7th definition of all things, the 7th definition, perfection. So a perfect individual is not a member of a family because it's dealing with Roman civil system, family name, surname, last name. So a pure, unadulterated individual is not a member of a family. There is no provision in the Canadian legal system for an individual to transfer, that means convey, speak, write, their given names to anyone, whether to a person, a corporation, or a trust. Any document that it purports or alleges to do so would in itself be invalid. Now, I've done a number of videos on that. I don't get why people are not embracing that, why they're not seeing that. That means an officer on the road has no authority to ask you for your given name. It's private. But by consent, you've given a version of it to them to operate with a driver's license, to get a hospitalization plan, to get benefits and privileges that associate you with the legal side, which has nothing to do with spiritual. Whose fault is that? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. If there is no provision for you to do it, why would you be doing it? And in the event of you doing it, you're actually placing yourself in a confusion, in a merger, because they can't have it showing up as if it's on its own in a separate jurisdiction. So they merge together, which is confusion. When you put two things together don't belong, they merge. So in the eyes of the law, the given name is no different than the surname when they're placed together. So they don't see it. It's one. That is an unequal yoking with unbelievers. Okay? Christ died for that side. You've just blasphemed him because the surname, legal surname, means name over and above the Christian name, which means superior to. That's blasphemous. Profane also means outside the temple. So once you've done that, you're outside the temple. You have no protection, no sanctuary. The God-given Christian name can't be touched. No civil, no criminal service can be put upon it because it's not in their world. It's not part of it. Walk into the other side, civil process, criminal process comes about it. So, when we look at the document, some people are looking for dates. I'm going to give you dates. You're going to have to order the transcript on your own. It may cost you about $60 to receive it if you're on the Canadian side of the border. But the transcript came about and was ordered November 30th, 2011. The transcript was completed January 25th, 2012. And the ordering party originally was notified on February 6th to come pick it up, 2012. Okay, the case, okay, is Paparella versus Regina. It would be Regina versus Paparella. It's actually Regina versus Paparella. Judgment Kowarski, Kowarsky. Okay, so this is in the Ontario Court of Justice. You're not going to find this at the sites where they may have it for free. You have to order transcripts, and transcripts, unfortunately, they're going to ding you some money to get them. Okay, so it is available, it is there, and the case did exist, and it's a matter of just basically doing a little bit of due diligence. Because I was involved in it, I had a copy of it. I know the individual has got the entire transcript, but I took out the key points because that's all I needed out of it. I didn't need all the other waste of time nonsense that came out of the justice's mouth regarding the case, because the case really wasn't focused on this, but it came up because of someone jamming in their statement of birth record that their parents filled out at the hospital, and therefore it had to be dealt with. So it just came, and in fact, the party that was involved was so lost at the time, and I feel for that, and that's why I was there. And he said, "What do? I missed the court case. I didn't even show up." I said, "Well, the only way you're going to know what goes on is to order the transcript." So he ordered the transcript, and this is what came out of it. This is not something made up. This is what happened, and the evidence is available. So all I can say is, in the future, if I, basically get the time and the energy to put a document section up on a site where you can go through various documents that have definitions, a lot of the research. I mean, I've got a pile of research I have to go through just to organize it up so you can at least see the, like a scanned copy of whatever I've ever put my hands on and says it's worth keeping during this journey. So we'll do our utmost on that. But in the meantime, this case is available, and we did do videos that show this case up front. Go to it, look at them, they're there. I think one of them was a meat and potatoes video on how you got into it, and we explained it, and the actual camera went right up against the front of this document. So if I have to go right here, I'll do it right now. Hopefully that's showing up. And that should be enough, because we're getting a lot of emails and a lot of conversations that are dealing with, where's this case? So you're going to have to possibly order it and pay for a transcript. If it's not there, don't worry about it. We got it, and it's not going away. And it did happen, and it is what the legal system is about. So they don't provide for your given name because it's not part of their world. It's separate. It's not public. But they do provide for what is not infringing on it, which is their legal surname, because that's the only thing that was required that belonged to Caesar. So Caesar only gets what is Caesar. He doesn't get what is God's. So the problem what's happened is an unequal yoking in the unbeliever system.